team. I do think they've got a very interesting team composition for themselves, though. Like you said, lots of backline access and dive, but also between the Alistair and the Galio right here, the Jhin is going to have a lot of spaceport for him to be able.
That will like to build around them, like guys like Xiaofeng. A conversation we've had so much with a player like a Milky Way in a very different trajectory is this is something you don't usually see at the level 1 early. We are having an 80 carry 1v1. Jauchi gets through an entire clip with the Jhin bullet, goes back into the brush, so he drops vision, gets the reload off, and he's just going to crit shot LP. He gets the barrier, but flashes right after him, and Jauchi punishing LP for just straight up disrespect.
One of the few champions who can out-roam an Akali if you play it out correctly. So also going to have to keep an eye on that mid lane, see where the priority is going to be there. The minute, everybody going to be wandering around. Here's the engage.
Here we go, support starting out first. The Cat does not have that unbreakable will, so it's easy to slice right through the Alistair. And it's Xiaofeng popping out, throwing down the first cease and desist. He's always right going forward in this opening match.
You can see Jackie and the Cat just moved a little bit quicker. Xiaofeng, what was that?
Niket flashing in to try and get Xiaofeng, but he feels fine and dandy and safe because he sets up a huge bullet time. Jauchi has to flash out. Can Milky Way save his 80 carry? No, Xiaofeng finds the kill. He does sacrifice his life in tote. Xiaoshu using the hero's interest to join the party. Both global ultimates come on live with the Dredgeline 6 for Zhuo into the seismic shell. Xiaohu, is he taking enough on this Galio to survive the burn? No, he is not. Zika gets the kill, feats of warfare, and a slight win on the skirmish over to LNG.
Alright, should have respected the Xiaofeng engage a little bit more. He missed the Vault Breaker and then immediately gets jumped, but still manages to turn that around into the reset time has just come through at a slightly inopportune moment. Although the Drake not really being burned through, he's going to get here.
And look at Xiaofeng. Vault Breaker's over. The new sub in for LNG that has made them proactive, made them oriented to fight. But is this a fight they really want to take? They are getting flanked by Tongguan. Zhuo throws the Dredgeline down, immediately regrets his mistake as he flashes out.
No.
And somehow LP steals the dragon. He didn't even use the bullet time, because guess what? The bullet time ranks across all of RNG. Xiaoshu goes to the hero's entrance. Tongguan gets 0 value out of his perfect execution. LNG stays strong as 5, and it's to the death and demise of RNG. 2 kills already picked up, and they might be hunting for more here. I don't know if that turret will even protect Jauchi as he pulls out the curtain call. Desperately trying to find these kills on the backside, but Milky Way, walking away from the safety of his turret, is gonna burn to Zika. And guess what, Jauchi? Your friend's fate is yours. I've seen the future. Here comes the 4-man demise of LNG. Jauchi's barrier will not save him. He won't even trade out Zika. It's perfection from LNG as they wipe the floor with RNG.
For RNG really need to get themselves straight into the back line. Just don't feel like they're in the position to be able to do so. Mid lane, tier 1, gonna fall. Gonna be any further. In fact, the disengage just gonna come through right here from Xiaofeng. And it has been so good to see from him. Actually, does he manage it? Yeah.
I guess, you know, I'll give him the credit.
So potentially looking for a fight top lane. He's gonna spot out Milky Way.
Yeah, they know he's on this top side. He walked past a ward. He will mark Milky Way, who goes untargetable. Bullet time, not going to hit a lot on the Milky Way. They turn the depth charge onto Tongguan. He does get into the Shroud, but the Shroud won't save him. The seismic stuff still comes through for Haichao. Tongguan will not be able to dash away from the cease and desist, the hard arm of the law, known as Xiaofeng. As Tongguan falls, here comes the big rumble ult as well. It gets too far forward up. Xiaoshu does get a big taunt. They get the curtain call out. Jauchi has enough space, but Xiaofeng says, I'm closing the distance. Flashing forward the Vault Breaker. Xiaofeng in the middle of 3 RNG members, and he still will not die. Dredgeline down to Xiaoshu, and it's another kill set up by LNG. They can do no wrong with their new pivotal jungler in the starting role.
Started. Be able to pick up a couple extra kills for your team, and now as we jump out of that replay is going to be that 3rd dragon completed LNG on Soul Point.
This is like if the way they're taking these neutrals, it's like if your mom gave her credit card to you as you walked into a candy store.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just buying everything. I want everything. Otacon, yes. Dragons, yes. Hey, maybe we might pick off an Alistair here, get some burgers at the at the mall diner as well, as the Ket nearly burns. Unbreakable Will, only thing saving him. Voracious Otacon as well is what is the prize for LNG, so he'll get that false life. And you thought Xiaofeng was playing with aggression before. Wait till he has an easy recall towards his base.
At this point, the game feels like it's just falling away from RNG. They're down by so much. 5,000 gold going to be the advantage just 20 minutes into this game. There's not even a Baron. Otherwise, I think that would be the next bit of candy picked up by LNG. For now, they're just going to push through this bottom side of the map. Milky Way was looking for a flank, but just gets caught right here.
Does Xiaofeng just have a sixth sense? He had no vision in that brush, and he still is just bodying Milky Way. Hashtag revenge of Xiaofeng for Rookie of the Split as he solos out Milky Way's The Fury. It's all up LNG. This game is routed.
It's so important to be able to pick up this win right here for LNG to show that you have been revitalized. Yes, maybe this split isn't going to be the best for you, but you don't get eliminated for split number 3. You get to go again, and more than anything, these players are still trying to put good wins down onto their resume, show that they deserve to still be here. Stepping into a brush, what ends up happening, where the dogs are if you don't get spotted out, because Milky Way sat there thinking he's got a pretty nice flank off, you know, has that Eclipse completed, maybe could try to one-tap LP, that could start off a winning fight for RNG, but nope, Xiaofeng immediately nips that in the bud, and now the push just continues on right here, top lane tier 2 gonna fall, and the response, not even a full tower in the bottom side. I don't know how low that tower is gonna be, but Hangyeon sticks around, is he just gonna...
I don't know. I don't hate this approach from RNG. They're not going for any plays into the false life unless it's, you know, like a clear 1v3. Zeka, though, won't fall. He does have to be careful. The false life drops off in 7 seconds, and Xiaofeng does not care. He's diving under the inhibitor turret. You do not have a recall back to base for free. They do lose the false lives now. These are going to be kills given over to RNG if they're not careful, and Tagwan capitalizes. Xiaofeng makes a critical mistake, gives one shutdown over, and there's a whole lot more standing gold in LNG's pockets. The bullet time for LP, trying to buy space for Haichao, but Milky Way and Tagwan have so many dashes to try and chase down these kills. Shuo gonna survive, burning his own flash.
You also walk through a lot of your jungle, so you see that you're not getting flanked at the moment here. LNG set up pretty well for this. And these slow fights, this is where the Talia can really shine.
Watch out for Tangwan. He's doing a very deep flank. Look at Zeka. He sniffs it out. He knows it's coming. Weaver's wall down. Does try and cut off some of RNG as they are kind of trapped in the pit. Jachi will come across. The Weaver's wall drops. Nobody really sectioned off too harshly, but they're waiting for Tangwan to go in. Dashes in. Hero's interest with Xiaoshu. Finds absolutely nobody. The bullet time this time comes across with the rumble. That's the wombo LNG drafted for, and they're just popping every single member of RNG. What a clean, dominating start to this series as LNG eyes a 1-0 lead, looking for a spot in the play-in tournament.
It's going to be 30 seconds until the majority of pickups are available for RNG. I don't know if this is going to be the full end. It might well be. Yes, you managed to grab the Drake accidentally in and amongst everything that happens here, but going to be a more than worthwhile trade for the base of your opponents. LNG revitalized, looking so much better. 13 seconds now until Jackie's going to be up and available. Same for Zhao and Milky Way. I think they're just about going to be able to survive. Don't throw things away, LNG. Back off. Yeah, the second that the front line falls, the chase comes through. And so far, the hooks have just been clean. Don't know what happened right there to hit, but that should turn straight into the Baron. I gotta be honest, Zhou on these hooks has been so clean all game.
Baron being started as you called out. Milky Way's here with Tangwan. They're gonna have the TP coming across for Xiaoshu. So he will be able to join, but this is still a 4v5 for the team that is very, very far behind, and they have 0 eyes on this Baron. So Milky Way has no idea how low the Baron is. They can't even use the curtain call to get close enough because the bullet time lands this time onto Milky Way. We had some issues with the misfortune, but LP shuts us up in an instant with another clutch bullet time, and Tagwan can't even rescue a kill. Baron not needed. There's your final fight. There's your cherry on top. One of the cleanest games from LNG, not all split, but maybe all darn year.
Absolutely it is. They have just dismantled RNG. It starts badly. They give a kill over to Jackie, and from that moment on, LNG... they get themselves straight into this game. Look at him. He's trolling. He's having a good time. Hey, why not? He has completely turned the fortunes of LNG around. This team looking so much better. And it's not going to be the final.
And Rise, it's impossible to break through. You got a Crescent Guard to deal with, a Scion, and a Rel. What does Zhuo get to do on this Poppy? You hit the right Keeper's Verdict. See you later, frontline. Hey, look.
Of that Rise ulti and that Scion ulti. So they're not at a complete disadvantage. Now lots of pings on in the bottom lane.
Oh, as Niket flies in, they're going after Xiaofeng himself when he flashes forward, gets Jauchi to pop the cleanse,
Oh,
but
wow.
Jauchi's health bar was far too low. Steadfast Presence does cancel the hop forward, but Jauchi doesn't need to get this kill. Milky Way does. RNG, the team to come out swinging early, and they bite off
this one. As LNG, you really don't want to be giving grubs over to a Tristana and a Scion. Those two can mess you up in side lanes. Tristana already get the extra proactivity through. You've only lost your jungler in one fight. You know, you're not going to be too far behind.
Here we go. First ultimate from Xiaofeng. Gets Chong on a flash, but the follow comes across, and there is that proactivity showing through again from the LNG jungler. Getting kills back on the board. Grubs. You got the Scion and the Rise as well. We're going to be plentiful in the side lane. So, winning trade. That is for LNG because they cannot just sit idly, especially down gold. Ooh. And again, it's Milky Way that's looking to make the plays. The Keeper's Verdict does get rid of Milky Way, but Jauchi has more than enough damage to get one kill. He nearly finds the second onto LP as well.
LP thinking maybe he could get a return kill, not going to be the case. And now Xiaofeng also going to get bullied out of his jungle again. That's the second blue buff in a row. He's not been allowed to take wins across the board right here for RNG. This is a big problem for LNG. When you have the earlier game composition and it begins falling apart like this, not good.
Oh, there's the Grand Starfall, though. They catch Jauchi recalling on a ward. And with the Killer Instinct, LP picks up that kill. They have Tongguan here who's trying to trade the damage out with the Rune Prism. Xiaofeng waiting on some cooldowns. Just going to go after Niket and get a second kill. The Realm Warp out for Tongguan will at least save him. But mistakes RNG marring...
For LNG, it's worth that ward going down.
Worth for Zhuo. He almost comes back in and gets the revenge. Killing off Tongguan if he doesn't have the Realm Warp up. But live in action, we're fighting over the Rift Herald. Zhuo flies in for Niket. Milky Way popping the Crescent Guard. Zhuo does get himself back out to safety as both top laners teleport in. Shelly is angry. It's soon to reset here. A little far away from her pit. So Shelly crawls back, and RNG are going to actually turn on to the Herald. Right as I talk about the turrets, Haichao gets the whack away at this top tier 1. And RNG are first towards that dragon. So we'll see what the Herald play looks like for Xiaofeng later on.
There was absolutely no response out of LNG. They were not even slightly interested in getting involved in this play around the dragon. Like you said, they get themselves top lane tower. Actually, they're going to be able to pick that one up first, so that is going to be another move towards the feats.
Well, feats are gone off that dragon, though.
Off the dragon, yeah, already, actually, yeah. Because they were able to get themselves all 3 of those grubs earlier on, of course. So that's, yeah, not going to be an overall worthwhile play.
And this is calling back to, like, the placement matches. It's been Jauchi had that awesome Kaisa game, and Milky Way. So, good call out there, Blockster, because we're still a little bit wary of RNG. But Milky Way has been ever aggressive, looking for plays, and targeting Zhuo constantly, who is just sectioned off and picked off with ease. As we see Zhuo drop for
much worse spot.
Look at this, though. Look at this call from Milky Way and Tongguan. They're going to start off Voracious Octagon, which will definitely speed this game up, giving false lives. LNG are trying to roam over, but there are 4 members strong here for RNG. And Milky Way, he's taking a lot of damage from Voracious Octagon. He's healing a lot more. And now that LNG have brought the response over, they're going to try and drop aggro. They get the teleport out of Haichao, who does join the party. Voracious Octagon will reset. Now it's LNG's turn to hop on Octagon. As this chess match continues, it's below 4K. Are we really about just 50-50 this thing? False Lives will completely swing this fight. Zhuo sends Milky Way out of the pit, though. That clutch Poppy ult gets the False Lives for LNG. And now do they feel confident enough to fight? The Grand Starfall says yes, but Tongguan has already picked off one member. Zika flying into the backline does get Jauchi down. They get the big Tristana, but do they have enough in the tank left to fight out? Milky Way certainly says no with his Crescent Guard up, but Zika keeps churning and burning. Gets another kill. There's another recall coming across. All of the gas is out of the tank for LNG. They get the Octagon. They all fall as 5, but it won't end up costing them more than 1,000 soul point. They have Zika on the top side with teleport. And it looks like LNG are willing to make this trade. Infernal soul point for a tier 2 top lane turret that Zika doesn't even feel comfortable going for.
Yeah. Well, this is a complete disaster here for LNG. Instead, it's fine in the end. Oh, hang on.
Oh boy, but we're fine now with no false lives. Haichao. What is that positioning? The Victor in the worst spot
possible. Position from LNG. Everybody else is looking to go play forwards, be aggressive, jump into the back line. Whereas the Victor much more full with this composition that you don't jump forwards. You don't have any of the mobility tools that everybody else does. It's mainly just Zhao who walks at him, and there's nothing you can really do as the Victor. I mean, No flash available.
Yes.
You're just...
You got the Saris, the Roa fully stacked up, and Azania's not too far away. So he can really churn and burn a lot of the damage markers as Zika finds a 1v1 with Milky Way with Realm Orb available. It's not a 1v1, it's a 2 versus 1. The public execution does come down. Togwan might be caught here. He goes into the stasis, but they can't commit to find the kill. Shalfung throws a spear, chucks it right at the head of Togwan. Right when we're talking about the rise being pivotal, it falls and gives an opening to LNG.
And this is the thing, we've been talking about how we also wanted Zika to step up at some point. Well, there you go, 3 items now completed, and this is the thing with Ambessa. Yes, it looks like you've nearly killed her, but the amount of shielding and dashes available to this champion is immense. Zika didn't even have the flash available, and was still able to hit that key public execution onto Tangwan, make that one work. Now, BLT gonna come through, bops away
Xiaoshu. Yeah, so they'll be able to finally take this mid lane tier 1 turret that
there we go.
they wanted this thing bad, Bloxer, so that does open up the map a lot more and will really help find this dragon. But will they be willing to trade the Baron? Because RNG, they'll happily take that bargain.
Absolutely, and you can see just the utter darkness right now around that buff. There they go.
Brush. They're going for Zhuo. Does not get the Keeper's Verdict off. He wants Crescent Guard by space. The Ket does get traded out. Watch Jachi Tongguan as the Arcane Storm comes over. Tongguan flashing forward to get the Ruin to Haichao. Public execution goes on to Xiaoshu. Everybody trying to draw these battle lines, but who's going to dash forward? It's the Killer Instinct from LP. Knocks down Xiaoshu. There's no more front line left as the Grand Starfall comes across. Jachi falls next, but Haichao's being heralded by Milky Way. He can't find the kill. Great flash from Haichao, and Xiaofeng finds the critical kills. LNG in an absolute bloodbath will not relent, and it's a Xiaofeng triple kill to put a star on top. Fresh air, knowing that they can dictate the tempo of this game a bit more. At the very least, they don't have to worry about that dastardly trade, Infernal Soul for Dragon, but they're playing with a new confidence after that fight win, and finally Zika getting another clutch public execution. It's on the Milky Way of all people. The catalyst, the front of the spear for all of RNG's early game team fight wins has fallen early, and the rest of the team is scattered to the wayside, running for the hills as Zika just burns through the horse and the cat.
It looked good for RNG throughout the early stages, and at the point at which their composition was beginning to get online, just begin to like it was going to be a terrible time for them. It was looking like maybe they could play it, maybe they still can, maybe they can pull their way back, but with the Baron buff up and available for LNG, with these towers crumbling right in front of their eyes, it just doesn't feel like they've got any way to get back into this game. It's going to take a bit of a miracle engage between the Rel, the Scion, and the Xin Zhao. It's not impossible, but God, does it feel unlikely.
At the very least, they're not losing too much on this Baron power play yet. They lose the mid-tier 2. You're going to have to sack this bottom lane 1 as well with no real protection from mid lane by this point. Another wave comes up, and RNG have to back up further, create a makeshift.
It really isn't impossible. This composition is getting stronger and stronger here for RNG, but they just haven't shown that they're able to play it out correctly.
Now with no Baron, they're going to try and start a fight, but hello, there's been a secret mission on the back end. Tongguan gets picked by both Zika and Xiaofeng. RNG are going to try and force the fight on the other end. The Buster Shot does nearly get the kill onto Haichao, but he survives. He leaves LP to his own devices, but with no damage dealers left, it's actually LP getting turned on. LP knocking down Xiaoshu without Milky Way and his collapse. The black hole of LNG find the ace and might put the final dagger in this series. A commanding 2-0 to send RNG to the despair of 0-3 in Group Nirvana.
LNG, they put themselves in a spot where now they've played all of their Group Nirvana games. There is a possibility, a chance that they might even get to move on up and play more League of Legends this split, get themselves into the play-ins. For RNG, this may well be it. This may well be the final nail in the coffin that sends them tumbling out of the LPL for split number 3. Ends their entire year right here. LNG, 2-0 RNG in dominant we know and love. But also with a couple of pickups that you usually don't get to see. You know, you often don't get to see the Gwen and the Yone and the Sejuani. Bits of that are usually... I think this is specifically one of those games where you can really look towards Bin, really try to get involved in that lane. See if you can impact onto this matchup, because the Gwen is going to be a big part of FPX shutting down what BLG want to do. Like we were saying, so good at getting through these tanky champions, and you need to buy space for Knight and Elk to be able to do their thing in this matchup.
Oh, as Dway gets a double crash down. Elk and Owen were not in position, not expecting it, and they look petrified.
Out of melee champions available here for Shadow to play around. Actually, Sheer just going to have to turn and
Sheer.
run. Uh-oh. Oh, no.
The lane swap. Now it's mistake time for Fun plus Phoenix. Sheer not respecting Owen coming to lane. And Elk, after the Big Mar mistake, gets something back. But Bin, on the flip side, trying to throw down 1 versus 2, does not get back to his own turret. So,
Oh boy, Bin. Oh no. He's been pretty vulnerable to dives throughout this split so far.
Always the target. No flash available. Jouet gets the stuns locked up. And there is that permafrost stun you were talking about. All 3 kills early to get the Feats of Warfare on Assume.
Exactly what you want to be doing right here. So much proactivity during the early game from FPX. They are going to lose out onto this Drake, but not the end of the world to lose. I can't change things too much. Bin now going to be another dive. No permafrost available, but Care still has his own CC.
Somebody order another dive, and somebody order a delicious wombo combo served up fresh, hot and ready. They hit the bullet time into the Fate Sealed, and it's been going back to the bin for a 3rd time.
FPX, a team on the rise at the moment, looking to get themselves back to 500. They've played a ton of games. They've already played one of those super weeks some of these teams have, where they play 4 games in 1 week. They've already completed their first round robin, right? It's a crazy amount that they've had to play already, and the fact that they have been able to begin to pull it back, 3 wins in a row up until what was a loss against WE, and now already taking BLG to task. Going to be spawning. FPX grabbed all of the first 3. Now FPX potentially looking for a dive before that set spawns for themselves. Knight, a slightly harder target to grab. On is in the area too.
Yep. Is he going to be able to catch Shadow before he gets the push it out? No, the hop still has the stun land. But Assume can't get close enough to try and push the bullet time across. Teleport's going to be across. BLG are angry, and they want to try and shut down this dive. And at the very least, they're going to get a ton of flashes out. But guess what? Elk's got some slows. The curtain call is looking to sunset this dive attempt. The equalizer as well. So many slows. Owen trying to get close enough for the dredge line. But look at the turn there. Coming across from Jouet. The bullet time heals all wounds for FPX. And somehow, on the complete back foot, they come away with the 1 kill.
That does mean all of the members of FPX are now down in the bottom side just before these grubs are going to spawn. Midway right there. Maybe that's the trade. Elk is just dead,
okay.
Surely.
Fate Seal doesn't land, doesn't matter. Care Soul Unbound gets out, and that's the TP. Flash burned. There are no flashes available for FPX, and Knight is on the flank. The golden left hand trying to silence this torrential run in the early game from FPX, but it's still just so pandemonium, so messed up. They get the Buster Bomb, though, to find the kill on his way, so Knight can get the reset. He's going to hop towards Assume, who does have Barrier. Trying to buy more space, but Shadow, his health bar is blinking. The dredge line somehow hits from On. That looked a bit wacky, but a kill's a kill. Knight's on that same pedestal, resting his golden left hand. Per usual.
Indeed. Knight going to have a big performance right here. Been good so far. On.
Ooh, that bullet time was so misguided that it gets canceled, but they've got the lockdown, Glacial Prison, Magnet Storm, and sometimes you don't need that big misfortune to find kills.
There is a reason that either the Sejuani or the Yone have been banned out so often as a combo. It just gives you so much, and it pairs up so well with these aggressive melee supports that we've been seeing so much of in the meta as well. Between Jouet and Shadow, big objectives are going to be spawning, and when there's time, dives are apparently what these teams want to do. This is a really risky dive you want to go for. I think it's much more likely the Shadow just steals away some of these Krugs, although actually Sheer and Assume are coming down as well.
Oh my god. Whatever bug BLG have for dives, it's spread to FPX, and poor On is going to be the sacrifice. They once again, that's the second time in 3 minutes that 5 members of FPX are on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, they're going to pay for it with their top lane tower. You can see in the pip, although who's going to be able to pick this one up first? This is actually pretty important.
First turret's already down, I believe, in the top side.
It is, yeah.
This game 1 is just such a good test for who can really execute their composition better with all the CC like you're talking about. Both junglers in such a facilitative role. Depth charge, Glacial Prison traded as Knight does get stunned up. Jouet and Assume are trying to come away on the back end. We also have Care flanking of the Sentry. Bullet time goes down onto On, but look at the equalizer. It burns down Sheer. Care finally arrives to the party and sections off Elk. First marksman is down. Knight trying to 1v1 up against Shadow. The Heartsteel pop nearly finds it, but it's Care over the wall, uses the Fate Seal.
Although this is topside. I didn't know we were allowed to fight in other places on the map.
What? This is illegal.
I know.
I didn't know this. We need to get some we need to make sure we have the right permits to do this, because this fight is about to break out. They have Assume fly out of it. Somehow we let the AD carry ride in the Rift Herald. That's also a cardinal sin. There are a lot of violations going on, but nonetheless, the mid-tier 1 turret
have to be able to do your damage. Just on a little bit of a low-range ADC. You get jumped immediately by all of the CC that FPX have for themselves. Assume he's had a couple of good bullet times, and that's because this setup for his team, the way that this team is able to get things going early, just been so very impressive. FPX, despite the fact they lost their most recent matchup, it feels like they're coming into this one with all the momentum.
All the momentum, all of the vengeance on the mind. As this Wei starting off with a crash down. Impale from Wei does land just onto Shadow, and the crit shot from Elk finds its mark with a huge equalizer from Bin, and just like that, the former 2-time champs bite off and leave their mark. Elk, completely untouched, is starting to try and run this fight, but the topside melees do trade out. Jway, and resets are coming across here from Knight. He does sport the teleport, so he's going to rejoin this fight. And BLG with their man advantage are not going to let this dragon go quietly. They need to leave a statement in this game, as they have been faltering in some of these fights. And the 50-50 is going to come across onto the dragon. And even though they don't have a jungler, they have Elk, who gets the crit shot. But the distance is cut down by Care once more. Gets a triple kill. And makes sure provides an extra threat on that side lane. Nobody can really challenge him 1 versus 1.
Oh,
we have Owen fishing and coming up completely short for the pick. Impale does come on it too. The bullet time used defensively from Asun to make sure Knight doesn't go too far forward. And who else but Care to fly in on the flank. Finds the kill onto Owen, but that's just the support. And the equalizer gets a ton of value. Elk really has his flash. And this thing is just gone. They have been on the bot side. He's catching waves, and Elk is not close enough. It's still important to pick up those petals, pick up those flowers, but even that won't be contested. So, Natsucon for no price, except maybe Care.
Big flank.
Yeah, Care is 6-0. Remember, this is the Golden Goose with a huge shutdown. Dredgeline perfectly positioned from On. It's both the tanks, but Wade does have the Impale if he needs it. Grabs Care, and Knight is going to be gifted a huge bounty. Watch the gold add up. He does have to burn the flash, but Cash is in at filling out most of that LDR. And Knight will only really start to increase his range by this point, and 3 items with a armor shred item will make it so that Shadow can even fall weak and prey to Knight. Just like this dragon did. Yeah. Double marksman difference, man.
Oh yeah, just shredding straight through these things. The decision from FPX was to not contest for that one, instead try to get this mid lane tier 2 tower down. It has the smallest amount of HP. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, Bin has to flash away. Step up around this Baron. They are fully on a ward, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of good warning coming down from On. He gets a Dream Dredge line. Hello, they catch out Assume. There's no cleanse available. He flashes the Buster shot with the bomb ticking over Assume. Wow, mere single HP points to keep him alive. But what does FPX look like without that clutch bullet time? I've got the answer. Mincemeat. Sheer goes down. Pick found. Knight does fall. But it's a 2-for-1 as both soul lanes of FPX drop. And is that enough for BLG to say, time to dance with the purple worm?
Oh, the fact that the Buster shot with bomb combo didn't quite end up in the kill really sucks, but it still cancelled the bullet time. Massive play right there out of Knight, even though he does end up falling as well. But now, this Baron falling relatively quickly, although not as fast as with that Tristana. Shadow is here.
He won't get into the pit, though. Wei's going to deny him. On is there. Baron is gone unless he can flash in. Gets the glacial person onto Elk. Shadow, you have to go after the Baron. He doesn't want it, though. And it's lanes. And right now, he's been the difference maker, and he's looking to do it again as he flashes to get the Ixtal's impact. The Impale, though, is canceled by the Soul Unbound recall, and the man we were just praising is completely caught. Wei disintegrated by Care.
So how does it... Now, though, we are going to have the Mountain Drake spawn. It would be Soul if BLG can pick this up for themselves. FPX, they can't afford to lose out onto this one.
See Wei try and pilot them forward into the pit. This is Mountain Soul Point, like you called out, so everybody's teleporting in. Sheer cancels a big flank blast cone. Does Wei have the odds to go in for the pit and try and steal this Mountain Drake? No, he doesn't want to give his life. It's not going to force anything too bad onto them, as Shadow does jump towards BLG backline. Elk and Bin stay safe, though the Glacial Person doesn't find anything spark. None of these ultimates are really lining up for anybody. They get an equalizer that doesn't get any value, but what does get the value? The bullet time that arrives right on tote for FPX, and now they just blow through BLG. Both marksmen don't mean squat. FPX are the kings of this game one.
They really are. They're going to be able to run this one forwards. 30-second death timers on the majority of these carries. 40 seconds on these ADCs. This should well be the end of the game right here. Having to wait for minion waves. Things are a little bit slow right now. Let's see. Can they do it? 30 seconds until anybody really important going to be back up. This is going to be game right here. FPX, I mean, what more could you want? Taking out BLG in game 1, honestly, in a pretty dominant fashion.
What a statement from FPX. We've talked about their meteoric rise through that 3-win streak. It's playing as a team and having fun while doing it. And you can see the smiles on the squad as they lock back in with a 1-0 lead. I think that last point you made is the most important. The ability with the Emperor's Divide to kind of say, whoa, way back up, or shove a Pop Blossom out of grabbing a multiple of your company. As Shadow has set up his own little spy operation as he watches his own blue buff get taken. Knight has first from over Care. Can hop over with the blast cone. Wade dashing forward. Maybe just to push Shadow off of his blue buff. Shadow flashes forward, tries to secure it, but it's Knight that is able to grab it for Way. A lot of damage buffer there by Shadow. They have the bailout if they need it. Care dashes as well. Flashes galore, but Elk finds first blood onto Assume, and he's going to make it a double up. Elk and On, the difference right now for BLG, and Care can't even find a strike.
And that's going to put some extra priority onto these towers. Sheer has Shadow in the area. Bin needs to be careful. Oh, bot lane.
Oh my god, but bot lane, Assume has the bailout, but who's there to bail him out? Nobody. Elk gets another kill in. To push further for those turrets like you're talking about, if they're having to play further back, and we're talking about Sheer, and he just walks into a free pick.
No.
BLG are unrelenting. This is the Billy Gaming, a split one that we thought could contend for the LPL title.
This is a BLG who just went back to the green room, shook themselves off and said, no, we're better than this. We should not be losing out in this situation. And so far, so good. 5 kills, like you said, and they're going to be up by a decent chunk of gold at this point in the game as well. Just over 2k. BLG also going to be able to grab themselves up these grubs, and this really sucks for FPX. Yes, you get the Drake on the backside, but who cares? You've got a Yorick. Yorick and grubs is a combo made in heaven.
I mean, Sheer can't even get his ghouls up. He can't even get to his turret. Elk is so dangerous right now with 2 long swords, and he's hitting every single Mystic shot. It's like he's got aimbot. Sheer does take over level 6, so he gets the main to at least buy him some space, but Wade says time to close that gap. Great Tangle Barb from On, and Elk is quiet. Starfall. Shadow is waiting to churn that ultimate. Assume jumps forward. Watch the Pantheon flying at some point, or maybe he doesn't. He says, this is a lost cause. The Fate's Call does come down from Assume. He throws Way towards Elk, but they don't get towards that Ezreal. It does leave Way to his own devices, but there's just not enough of a pack behind the punch right now for FPX. And with the Realm Warp in from Knight, the even odds are completely obliterated. Another win for BLG.
Gold and items, and don't even have a numbers advantage, so there's no way you're going to win it in the first place.
They are just getting taxed on everything. Shadow can't even farm his own jungle. He can't. He's never gotten that blue buff all game long. The spot
I'm
that
immediately worried for their continued existence on the Rift. Joy proving that to me right now as he takes a huge chunk of damage.
This is a 10-minute Trinity Force block. So this is a 10-minute Trinity Force. Damage, we have to even out the odds, right?
Oh yeah, of course, of course. I love seeing both sides of the spectrum. What was that? 57 minutes that game was? That was crazy.
55?
55,
something,
yeah.
Something towards the high 50s almost, yeah.
Absolutely insane. As you can see, every single time any member right here of BLG steps up.
54 minutes.
54,
the shortest game was also already given to FPX. They are the losers of the shortest game, I'm pretty certain, up against Top Esports. 23-29 is going to be pretty hard to beat, Bloxer.
Yeah, it's very funny that NIP had top until the Herald up and available, 2 and a bit until the Drake. For now, it's just going to be the bullying of BLG. They can just go in here.
Assume and Jue are really trying to make this work, and they actually do have Wei kind of caught. There's the Emperor's Divide, throws Wei back into his own team, but he does fall. Shadow flashing out to safety. Knight going to try and chase him down, but not going to be able to through the 2 turrets.
Okay.
So we finally get a trade of kills, and that is, folks, a win for FPX.
Just about, but it is now going to turn into this mid lane tier 1, getting at least massively chunked. The next wave
now
a little bit slow. Yeah, does have the TP if you wanted to maybe move up towards the top side. Nah, just going to lose this one out. And yeah, this is the unfortunate thing when you're this far behind. It takes so long to be able to pick up your kills, and you don't even manage to kill onto the most important member to get down. It just means you lose out on the rest. Care now needs to be careful. He's got both Knight and Elk here.
Does have Flash. There's
On
the Pop
even.
Blossom, though.
Yes.
Oh, perfect follow Flash.
Nice.
Own read scare like a book.
Yep, easy.
Get away with just a trade most of the time up against BLG, but Jouet, hello, handshaking and verbally agreeing to his own death warrant. Bailout down, assumed to fall once more. Karis teleport just a little bit too late to the party. The Sand Soldiers will find its mark on Wei. But Knight is here, and most importantly, Elk is here on an Ezreal that is so inflated, it would blow your mind, and he just auto-attacks down the last two straggling members of FPX for another multi-kill.
Gonna be an ace right here. Just 16 minutes into this game. You can see the look on the faces right here of the members of FPX. They know this one is pretty dang over at this point.
Not making it so difficult to find the wins that they've been known to get with ease in past, and it's plays like this that have made BLG so feared in the LPL as it's just rinse and repeat, sending these guys to the gray screen as quickly as possible.
And Grey Screen Simulator, very much the name of the game here for FPX. I guess one good thing you could say is it's not a perfect game. They've had a couple kills. They managed to get themselves a Drake. It is also at least not a situation where an FF would have been faster, you know. They have at least taken 18 minutes off of the clock. I think we'll go over 20 minutes. I don't know this is going to be a less than 20-minute game, but this is complete and utter domination. This is BLG speedrunning, getting us to a game number 3. That is very exciting for a matchup with so many implications for the standings.
Really trying to shake up that middle of the pack as Shadow dives into the middle of BLG. Crescent Guard going to block a lot of damage. Hostile takeover again from Jouet is pretty good, but the important member is untouched and free hitting. It's Elk, and he does not look like a deer in the headlights this game. He looks like a man with a mission, and that mission could be claiming the quickest game of 2025 in the LPL. With Grubs and with Care and Shadow only up, they might try for it right now. They got the middle inhibitor down. They pivot towards top side, and they won't go for that award just yet, but they still got time.
They still got 4 full minutes, 4.5 minutes at this point to be able to complete this game, and it feels pretty likely Elk just going to go for this play right here. They're even able to move away from the Emperor's Divide. This is just a disaster.
They do lose Bin, and Elk has a low health bar, despite how many items he does have. Oh, lethal tempo. Finds that shutdown for Care. Quicker reset for Elk. Cost him 1,000 gold.
And Knight just nicks away that red buff to end things out. Jouet also potentially under threat right here. I think he's going to be okay. He's going to step down, right? He's not going to walk up into that bush, surely.
Surely, right?
Oh.
Bloxer, what have you done? Bye-bye, Jouet. Oh, the limp away bailout. We have pushed way over the 1 kill per minute for BLG.
Oh, yeah. Exceptionally bloody game at this point. Usually when we say 1 kill a minute, we're referring to combined rather than per team. BLG really just are on such an accelerated path into this one. 20 minutes have now ticked over. There is an Atacan available if you want to go for it for BLG. But at the same time, they've managed to take themselves down this mid lane inhibitor.
Rushes. Nico pretty good at sniffing him out. Knight is going to be the one to face jack, and hey! They do get to Knight, goes into the stasis though, does have the flash, gonna try and buy some space. The Seraphs, will it save Knight long enough? No! Assume gets the first kill, Wei's the next one to get hopped on, flashes with the Crescent Guard. Will his turret protect him? He tries to dash back in, he's buying a lot of time, the turret is starting to really ramp up. And Elk is able to trade back the 1 kill onto Sheer.
Hey, look at that. Don't say 22 minutes later. Don't send us to a 40-minute game right here. Is going to be the Atacan started up by BLG. You do have members in the area, but not a lot of them. I think they're just going to concede this one. I think that's the right decision. There's no reason to step up right here. Part of why FPX have been able to claw their way back into this, going to see the Rift Herald popped. Now looking to crack open the base in the top side of the map.
Hold on, though. Assume was going to back. He canceled it. So this is going to be a 1v2 that I don't think Bin signed up for. Assume's going to get to throw as many spears as he wants into it, but maybe Bin wants the 2v1. Can he heal enough through for Assume? No. 1 for 1, but look at the top side of the map right now. It is Grub again as Rift Herald brings down another inhibitor. So Bin's 2v1 death, where something that can cause you a death if you're Sheer, and wave states are never in your favor. So you have to take really small pockets and try and capitalize on them. But all it's really gotten them is 1 tier 2 turret on that bot side, but The bottom lane is the one target of BLG by this point, the last inhibitor standing, and with 6 grubs, with how strong Elk is on 3 items, why not go to knock it down? But Hui again is the target of all of FPX's harassment. The Crescent Guard will buy him space for now as they try and throw Jue at him. The hostile takeover is going to hit onto Elk, but not before he takes Assume away with him. Knight goes into the stasis at just the perfect time, and with no health bars aplenty, FPX have to back off, but they won't let them. Knight will not let them. He wants to bludgeon them with his golden left hand and his golden boy of an AD carry known as Elk. Just like that, the finishing touches have been put on BLG's most dominating game of Group Ascend to send us the distance in our matchup of Group Ascend.
That's it. We're going to get 3 games of this matchup. Hopefully the next one going to be a little bit closer. FPX, honestly, kind of dismantled BLG in game number 1. BLG, though, come back swinging in this game number 2. It's not the fastest, but it's dang close. 20 to the later stages of the game, find the Lucian and murder him in a straight-up one-tap. If you get far enough ahead as Knight, not even that far ahead, just far enough ahead, you can... So far, so good in this one. I think they can. You've got so much CC.
There's barrier up for Elk. He also has flash. They're going to use the Braum stun. They're just going to go for On instead.
Yep.
Clinical turret aggro juggle, and will they reset and try and over-aggress onto Elk? He's going to try and flash over the first Q. Dodges out on the Braum Q. Still gets stunned up, and Shadow with a perfectly timed flash. That's the exact start you need for FPX. 2-0 towards their bottom lane.
Absolutely is, and Knight's even going to get drawn down here. Potentially going to go for this one, but I don't think he wins this one. Has to flash away, going to get stunned up anyway, and Assume one more shot. Just going to take him down. FPX, what is this early game?
Sidon, just as locked in, rotating on the map. They are not going to be pushed over again up against BLG. But Care is the target of this mid lane play. On good sidestep. We knew the seismic shove was coming, and Care is taken care of. First kill on the board for Knight and BLG.
Easily have popped the Weaver's Wall through and split up that fight completely. Here's the paranoia.
Here it is. Between Worlds, going to slow everybody down. They're having an Nebessa teleport onto the flank, and FPX don't know because the lights get turned off. Fear lands over on Torch Shadow. They're going to try to burn through, but the Braum shield blocks all of the damage from Knight. The Coaling comes down, but Bin dashes in, gets stunned from the Braum, and falls completely flat. Bin is down. Knight is sectioned off, knocked up, thrown to the wind. FPX are doing it. They're blowing through BLG in Game 3. They want to climb the standings of Group Ascend and drag BLG down with them. But
for this point in the game, more than good enough with the Drake and with the 6 grubs. Very happy with this one. Now they're looking to play around this Chemtech Drake.
But the vibe switch, Wade diving in straight on top of the Lucian with the Killer Instinct. Elk finds his mark. The veteran C for BLG showing its true colors. They find an opening, they break it wide open. And how does FPX navigate this fight without their true damage dealer? Shadow dashes in with the Sonic Wave, tries to go for Elk with the kick, but Elk is better. The public execution saves them. Bin bails out Elk. Knight sure stuck in a 1 versus 3, but Care can't step up far enough. His health bar is far too low, and Bin knows it, eviscerates him, flashing forward just like that. BLG do not go quietly. They bark back.
There we go, Way. That's exactly the paranoia we've been waiting for. Just manages to one-tap through Assume. The barrier just comes up after he ends up dying, and that's so much of the gold and power of your team gone. So much of the damage just lost immediately, and it means the BLG able to win that. Yeah, that takes a lot of the survivability away from this Nocturne, and also takes away the ability to flash follow to make sure you get the fear off after the paranoia. Really good pickup there, but still looks like BLG, they want to fight this one.
Here we go, where there's smoke, fire coming next, and BLG has lit Assume ablaze. Once again, the Lucian drops, the dive comp executes.
Hex plate here as well. You're just trying to get these ultis off, constantly get into the back line and make so Assume can't play. You can see there, he blew the flash, he blew the barrier, and it just did not matter. And he secured 2.
FPX, this is a Rift Herald that you have to give. It's so hard for them to fight without Assume. At the very least, they do fry up some burgers.
This tier 1 tower in the mid lane. Give Assume and Care enough time on it to be able to pick this one up. 6 grubs means that this one should be melted through and fall. It's something back right here for FPX. Will give them the slight gold advantage right here, but after being about 2,000, 3,000 gold in the seconds time, the minute, you can see quite a lot of push happening, and actually quite a lot of members right here of BLG stepping up towards the top side of the map, just hovering Knight, making sure he's going to be safe enough to push through this world for them. Not really take you too much closer to getting the soul. The map still very even overall. The gold pretty even as well. BLG small ride it and going
That's
in.
true.
So you do keep that mid lane tower alive. There's at least going to be something. Still though, we haven't really been able to see a lot of particularly proactive play so far from
Ocean Soul Point.
Yeah, it's a big risk to give this one over, especially on a composition with a Scion. Wei is stepping up, though. Can he get close enough to steal? No. This one is just going to go over. Now, do you want to keep pushing forwards as FPX, try to find a fight, or you have... Mid lane, tier 2, Knight. He might pay for his life with this one. No, actually, he gets to just step up and walk away. Interesting.
Yeah, that was brash.
Yeah.
But like you called out, next 3 minutes without that Elk flash, and look what's going to be on the map for it. Otacon is all the way down on the bot side. Baron is now up top. So this is the window where you think the FPX want to go for the fight, but here's the dive onto Assume. This time they protect Assume well. Joy gets complete value out of this Braum, and it's the flank from Sheer trying to break up the BLG fighting lines. Gets the knockup onto Ult, but the seismic shove onto Wei. What a clutch W from Care. Down goes Wei. The dive comp falls flat, and now they've got to head for the hills, but there's no hills to be found when the Weaver's Wall comes up to cut off all your escape routes. Ult is down next. FPX survive the dive, and boy, do they reap the rewards.
And they're going to turn this one around to pick up the Baron right here. FPX, they do not want to slide down. They want to get themselves back to even. They want to show that they're one of the better teams we've got in the mid-pack right here of Group Ascend. Wei is down, so the easy steal not going to be here. So you need to be careful right here as FPX, taking decent amount of damage from the Baron at the moment.
What does the golden left hand of the royalty of LPL have to do here? It's Elk flying in with the Killer Instinct. Great flash, though, to get FPX all bundled up together, and they secure the Baron.
Oh, no.
And now they can find out because Care has found the pick of a century. Bin steps up too far, and the earth under him unravels, and he brings Knight down with him. Baron and 2. It's dessert right now for FPX. That's how sweet of a game they're playing.
Absolutely, they had a great early game. BLG fought back for a little bit, but now FPX back in firm control of this one. Pushing up very far, a couple of low health bars. You do have to worry a little bit. The Paranoia is back up and available for Wei, and it looks like BLG potentially want to go for a fight here.
But they don't have any Killer Instinct. Elk can't really cut down the angle. It'd be Wei flying in by himself. On really has to be a little bit less treacherous. Good headbutt, though. Does get Shadow off of him, but here comes the Scion ult. They use the Paranoia again defensively, but On falls first. Does Wei create enough space to get himself back to safety? BLG continue to get picked off one by one. They're stragglers looking for a home, but all they're finding is crumbled structures and a mounting gold lead for Fun plus Phoenix.
Decision making. Oh, hang on.
Yes.
Hang on.
Oh boy.
This is
Oh no, Bin. This is not your bottom lane to control anymore. FPX are a bloodthirsty animal ever since they've got the power of the purple worm under them.
Absolutely, they're going to be able to push forward. 6 grubs, like we said, so this tower is just going to melt right now. You can also then transition that into a push through the mid lane. The wave being helped in right now by Sheer. Jue playing bodyguard, at least at the moment. Inhibitor tower still falling, and it doesn't feel like BLG can afford to step up.
But they have to. They're playing the dive comp. They're all designed to go in. They can't play on the back foot, but they're completely crumbling in their own base. Here might be the final touches on the series as Assume goes for the killer blow onto Elk. Shadow flashes after him. Flash for flash, but Inhibitor's down. There are 6 grubs here. Fun plus Phoenix, a team nobody thought would get out of placements into Group Ascend, have now done the unthinkable. JDG falls a week ago, but now it's BLG that fall to the might of FPX.
Let's go! What a fight right there to finish things off. FPX, they just step up with the Baron buff, with the grubs. There is nothing that you can do as BLG. And this team, this historic